Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the UHS Defiance. His hands gripped the metal rail as he watched the screen in front of him. Stars filled the black space, but something was wrong. Very wrong. "Captain," said Dr. Lisa Hamilton, walking up beside him. Her face looked worried. "The message from Earth just came in. You need to see this." Jake turned to look at her. Lisa was the best scientist on his ship. She studied alien life and cultures. If she looked worried, then he should be worried too. "Put it on the main screen," Jake said. The stars disappeared. Now they could see Ambassador Helen Carter sitting at a desk. Her face was pale, and her eyes looked tired. Behind her was the symbol of the Galactic Alliance, a circle of stars representing all the different alien races working together. "To all human ships," Helen began, "I have news from the Galactic Council. The Vexeri have returned." Jake felt his stomach drop. Every human in the galaxy knew that name. The Vexeri were an ancient race that had disappeared 1,000 years ago. Stories said they were powerful and dangerous. Helen continued speaking. "The Vexeri fleet is bigger than anything we have ever seen. Their ships are more advanced than ours. The Council has made a decision. All Alliance forces will pull back to the core worlds. We are abandoning the Outer Rim." "What does that mean?" asked Commander Rick Torres, Jake's second in command. Rick was a good soldier and an even better friend. "It means," Helen said, her voice shaking, "that we are leaving behind over 40 different alien races. The Council says these races are not important enough to save. They call them acceptable losses." Jake could not believe what he was hearing. The Galactic Alliance was supposed to protect everyone. That was why humans had joined 150 years ago. They were good at talking to different races and making peace. The Kythera, the Lumine, the Draken, all of them will be left behind, Helen went on. Their planets, their people, their children. The Council says it is the only way to save the important races. Lisa put her hand over her mouth. "Those are good people. The Kythera grow food for half the galaxy. The Lumine make beautiful art and music. The Draken build things that last forever." "I know," Helen said. "I argued with the Council for 3 days. The Altarians said it was logical. The Zephyrians said it was smart strategy. Nobody listened." Jake had met these races before. The Kythera were peaceful farmers who never hurt anyone. They had big eyes and soft voices. The Lumine looked like they were made of light itself. They sang songs that could make you cry with joy. The Draken were small but strong, and they could build anything. "What about us?" Rick asked. "What about humanity?" Helen took a deep breath. "We have a choice. We can come back to the core worlds and stay in the Alliance, or we can refuse and be kicked out." The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. If they stayed with the Alliance, they would be safe. But they would have to watch good people die. If they refused, they would be alone against the Vexeri. "Captain," said the communications officer, "we have an emergency signal. It's from the Kythera colony on Beta 7. "Put it through," Jake said. The screen changed. Now they could see a Kythera named Elder Mira. Her large eyes were full of tears. Behind her, Jake could see smoke and fire. "Please," she said, "anyone who can, hear this. Our world is under attack. We have children here. We have nowhere to go. The Alliance ships left yesterday. Please help us." The signal cut out. The bridge was silent again. Jake looked around at his crew. These were good people. They had families back on Earth. They had lives to live, but they also had hearts. "Sir," said Lisa quietly, "there are refugee ships trying to escape Beta 7, but there are also Vexeri scouts in the area." Jake closed his eyes for a moment. He thought about his daughter back on Earth. He thought about his duty to his crew. Then he thought about Elder Mira's tears. "Set course for Beta 7, he said. "Captain," Rick said, "if we do this, we can't go back. The Alliance will kick us out." "I know," Jake said. But I can't let children die when I have the power to help them. The ship turned toward Beta 7. On the way, they got more emergency signals. The Luminae homeworld was being attacked. Draken mining stations were going dark. Everywhere, the so-called unimportant races were crying for help. Jake sent a message to all human ships in the area. This is Captain Morrison of the UHS Defiance. Any ship that wants to help the refugees, follow me. Any ship that wants to go home, I understand. One by one, other human ships answered. The science vessel UHS Explorer, the cargo ship UHS Freedom, even some Alliance ships with human crews joined them. When they reached Beta 7, they found chaos. Cathara refugee ships were trying to escape, but Vexari scouts were hunting them. The Vexari ships looked like they were made of bone and metal fused together. They moved like living things. All ships, attack pattern Delta, Jake ordered. Protect the refugees. The battle was quick, but fierce. The Vexari scouts were fast, but the human ships worked together. They saved most of the refugees, but 3 human ships were damaged. After the battle, Jake received another message from Ambassador Helen. Her face was sad but proud. Jake, she said, the Council has made their decision. Humanity is no longer part of the Galactic Alliance. We are on our own. Jake nodded. I understand. But Jake, Helen smiled a little. I'm not going back to Earth. I'm coming to help you. Over the next few days, more human ships arrived. Scientists, soldiers, teachers, doctors, they all came to help. They set up a hidden base in an asteroid field. It was not much, but it was a start. Dr. Lisa Hamilton worked day and night, talking to different alien races. She learned their languages and their customs. She helped them work together. Commander Rick Torres trained mixed crews of humans and aliens. He found that when they worked together, they were stronger than any single race. But Jake knew this was just the beginning. The Vexari were coming, and they were bringing an army that could destroy entire worlds. The Alliance had abandoned the weak, but humanity would not. They would stand and fight, no matter what the cost. As Jake looked out at the stars, he wondered if they were strong enough. But then he saw a Cathara child playing with a human child, both of them laughing. He saw Luminae artists teaching human painters new ways to use color. He saw Draken engineers working with human mechanics to build better ships. Maybe they were not the strongest, maybe they were not the smartest, but they cared about each other, and sometimes that was enough. 3 months had passed since humanity left the Galactic Alliance. The hidden base in the asteroid field had grown bigger. What started as a few ships hiding in space rocks had become a small city. Captain Jake Morrison walked through the main hall of the base. Around him, he saw something amazing. Cathara children played games with human kids. Draken workers fixed ships alongside human mechanics. Luminae artists painted murals on the metal walls, making the cold base feel like home. Captain, called Dr. Lisa Hamilton. She hurried over to him, carrying a datapad. You need to see this. Jake looked at the screen. It showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked where the Vexatari had attacked. There were so many red dots that some areas looked like they were bleeding. They're moving faster than we thought, Lisa said. They took the Kellen system yesterday. That's 100 billion people gone. Jake felt sick. The Kellen were a proud race of scholars and philosophers. They had libraries that held the wisdom of 10,000 years. Now it was all gone. What about the Alliance? Jake asked. Still pulling back, Lisa said. They won't fight unless the Vextari attack the core worlds directly. A deep voice spoke behind them. Then they are fools. Jake turned to see Forge Master Thane, the leader of the Draken refugees. Thane was short, even for a Draken, but his arms were thick with muscle. His people had worked in the deep mines of their homeworld for generations. Thane, Jake said, how are your people settling in? We work, Thane said simply. It is what we do, but we also remember the Alliance. Ships left us when the attacks began. Only humans came back to help. Elder Zixty approached them. She was the last surviving member of the Cathara Council. Her large, gentle eyes had seen terrible things, but she still spoke with kindness. The young ones adapt quickly, she said in her soft voice. Human and Cathara children play together, as if they were always friends. But the adults fear. We hear news from other systems. The Vexeri do not just kill, they consume. Jake had heard the reports. The Vexeri didn't just destroy planets, they drained them completely. When they were done, nothing was left but empty rock floating in space. We need to do more than just hide, said Commander Rick Torres, joining their group. We saved maybe 1 million refugees, but billions are still out there. A beautiful sound filled the air. It was Melody's singer Aria, one of the Lumine spiritual leaders. Her people could make music that touched the soul. When she sang, even the toughest Draken workers would stop to listen. What does she sing about? Jake asked Elder Zixty. Hope, the Kithara replied. She sings that, in the darkest time, light will find a way. Over the next few weeks, that hope was tested. The Vexthari attacked 3 more systems. Each time, human ships tried to help with evacuations. Sometimes they succeeded. Sometimes they were too late. Dr. Lisa Hamilton worked without rest, studying the different refugee groups. She learned that each race had special skills. The Kitharot could grow food in impossible conditions. The Draken could build machines that never broke down. The Lumine could manipulate energy in ways that seemed like magic. Look at this. Lisa showed Jake her notes. When we combine their abilities with human organization, we're stronger than any single race. She was right. Draken built ships with human tactics, and Lumine energy systems could outfight anything the Alliance had. Kithara agricultural knowledge let them feed the growing refugee population. Lumine meditation techniques helped human pilots focus better in battle, but it was not enough. The Vexeri kept coming. The worst news came on a Tuesday. Ambassador Helen Carter contacted them from her ship, the UHS Diplomat. Her face was grim. Jake, she said, I just received intelligence from inside Alliance territory. The Vex have a new type of ship. They call them harvesters. What do? Jake asked. They don't just destroy planets, Helen said. They convert them. Turn the matter into more Vexthari ships. Every world they take makes them stronger. Jake felt cold. How long before they reach the core worlds? At their current pace, maybe 2 years. 2 years. It seemed like a long time, but Jake knew it would pass quickly. And when the Vexeri reached the core worlds, they would be unstoppable. That night, Jake could not sleep. He walked to the observation deck of the base. Through the clear metal, he could see stars. Somewhere out there, people were dying while he hid in an asteroid field. Cannot sleep either, a voice asked. Jake turned to see melody singer Aria. The Lumine's body glowed softly in the darkness, like a gentle lamp. I keep thinking we should be doing more, Jake said. We do what we can, Aria replied, but perhaps we need to think differently. What do you mean? Aria was quiet for a moment. My people have old stories. Stories about the time before the Alliance, before even our recorded history. They speak of the builders who came before. The builders. Those who made the first technologies. Some say they still exist, sleeping in hidden places, waiting for the right time to wake up. Jake had heard similar stories from other races. Ancient peoples who had advanced technology. Most scientists thought they were just myths. Do you believe these stories? Jake asked. I believe that in our darkest hour, help comes from unexpected places, Aria said. The next morning brought urgent news. The Lumine homeworld was under attack. This was not a quick raid like before. This was a full invasion. We have to help them, Jake told his senior staff. It's too dangerous, Rick argued. We only have 30 ships. The Vexeri have hundreds there. Then we'll have to be smarter, Jake said. They developed a plan. Instead of fighting the Vexeri fleet directly, they would hit their support ships. Draken engineers had studied Vexeri technology and found weak points. Luminae energy specialists knew how to disrupt their power systems. The battle for the Luminae homeworld lasted 3 days. Human ships darted in and out like insects, stinging the giant Vexeri fleet. Kithara-grown medicines kept the crews healthy during the long fight. Luminae songs boosted morale when things looked hopeless. In the end, they saved the planet. Most of the Luminae cities survived, but the cost was high. 7 human ships were destroyed, and many good people died. As Jake looked at the casualty reports, he realized something important. They had won, but barely. The Vexeri were learning. From each battle, their ships were adapting. Next time, the same tactics would not work. We need something more, he told Dr. Hamilton. I know, she said. I've been thinking the same thing, but what? Their answer came from an unexpected source, Dr. Ben Parker, a human archaeologist who had been studying Luminae ruins, sent an urgent message. Captain Morrison, Ben's excited voice crackled through the communicator. You need to get here right away. I found something. Something that might change everything. Jake looked at Lisa and Rick. They all knew that desperate times called for desperate measures. Set course for the Luminae research station, Jake ordered, as the UHS Defiance moved through space toward their destination. Jake wondered what Dr. Parker had found. Whatever it was, he hoped it would give them the edge they needed. Because time was running out, and the galaxy was counting on them to find a way to stop the unstoppable. Dr. Ben Parker stood in front of a massive stone wall, covered in strange symbols. His hands shook with excitement as Captain Jake Morrison and his team approached. Ben, Jake said, looking around the ancient chamber. What exactly did you find? The room was huge, carved from solid rock deep inside a mountain on the Luminae homeworld. The walls glowed with a soft blue light that seemed to come from the stone itself. Melody singer Aria gasped when she saw the symbols. These are older than our oldest songs, she whispered. Ben pointed to the wall. Captain, these aren't just decorations. They're instructions. And they're written in a language that predates every known civilization in the galaxy. Dr. Lisa Hamilton ran her scanner over the symbols. The energy readings are off the charts. Ben, how did you find this place? I was following Luminae legends. About the first light, Ben explained. Stories about beings who brought knowledge to the early races. I thought they were myths, until I found this. Ben pressed his hand against a particular symbol. The wall began to glow brighter. Then, something incredible happened. The stone became transparent, and they could see into another chamber beyond. That's impossible, Commander Rick Torres said. Stone doesn't do that. This isn't normal stone, Ben said. It's some kind of programmable matter. And Rick, that's not even the amazing part. Ben led them through the now transparent wall. On the other side was a room full of strange devices. They looked like machines, but they were made of the same glowing material as the walls. I've been studying these for 2 days, Ben said. They respond to touch, but only certain touches. Lisa, try putting your hand on that panel. Lisa approached. A smooth surface that looked like it was made of liquid light. When she touched it, the entire room came alive. Symbols appeared in the air, floating like holograms. A gentle voice spoke, in perfect human language. Welcome, inheritors. I am Kethus, last guardian of the precursor legacy. Everyone jumped back except Ben, who grinned. I told you it was amazing. The voice continued. You have found this place, because your species possesses the required neural patterns. The precursors have been waiting for you. Precursors? Jake asked. Images appeared in the air, showing beings that looked somewhat like humans, but taller and more graceful. They were building massive structures among the stars. We seeded this galaxy with life, millions of years ago, Kythus explained. We guided evolution, hoping that one day a species would develop that could inherit our knowledge. Most races became too specialized. Some became too aggressive. Others became too passive. But humans maintained the balance we sought. What balance? Lisa asked. The balance between logic and emotion, between individual thought and group cooperation, between caution and courage. You are neither the strongest nor the smartest race in the galaxy, but you care for others while still being able to make hard choices. Jake thought about the past few months. Humans had given up their place in the Alliance to help refugees. They had risked their lives to save people they barely knew. Maybe this Kithis was right. What does this have to do with the Vexari? Rick asked. The images changed, showing dark, twisted ships consuming planets. The Vexari are the children of our ancient enemies, the Devourers. Long ago, the Devourers sought to merge all consciousness into one perfect unity. We fought them and won, but at great cost. We left this galaxy, but not before hiding our technology for the day they would return. And that day is now, Jake said. Yes, the Vexari have found some Devourer technology, but they do not understand it fully. They consume because they are driven to, not because they choose to. You can stop them, but only if you are willing to accept the enhancement. Enhancement? Ben asked. The melding of human consciousness with precursor technology. It will change you, make you more than you are. But the process is dangerous. Not all will survive. Jake looked at his team. They had come so far, saved so many people. But the Vexari were still winning. What would this enhancement do? Jake asked. It would allow you to interface directly with advanced technology. Your ships would become extensions of your will. Your minds could work together across vast distances. You would gain abilities that seem impossible by current standards. Lisa stepped forward. I volunteer. Lisa, no, Jake said. We don't know what this will do to you. Jake, look at the galaxy, Lisa said. Billions are dying. If there's a chance this could help, I have to try. Before Jake could stop her, Lisa placed both hands on the glowing panel. Light surrounded her body. She screamed, but it was not a scream of pain. It was something else entirely. The light faded. Lisa stood there, but she was different. Her eyes glowed with the same blue light as the chamber. When she spoke, her voice had a musical quality to it. I can feel everything, she said in wonder. The ship in orbit, the base in the asteroid field, even the Vexari fleets. It's like the galaxy is a web, and I can see all the connections. Lisa, are you okay? Jake asked. Better than okay. Jake, I can understand how their ships work now. I can see weaknesses we never noticed. And Jake, there are more chambers like this. Dozens of them, scattered across the galaxy. Ben was recording everything. This is incredible. Lisa, can you teach others? Yes, but Keithis is right. It's dangerous. Maybe 1 in 5 humans can survive the process. Rick frowned. Those aren't good odds. They're better than the odds of stopping the Vexari. Without this technology, Lisa said, Jake made a decision that would change humanity forever. Contact all human ships. Tell them what we found. Let everyone choose for themselves. Over the next few weeks, volunteers came from across human space. Some were soldiers like Rick. Others were scientists like Ben. A few were just ordinary people who wanted to help. The enhancement process was terrible to watch. For every person who succeeded, another died. But those who survived gained incredible abilities. They could pilot ships with thought alone. They could communicate across space without radios. They could see patterns in Vexari movements that predicted attacks. Days in advance, Jake was one of the last to undergo the process. As the lights surrounded him, he felt his consciousness expand. Suddenly, he could sense every human ship, every refugee camp, every Vexari fleet. The galaxy became clear to him in a way it never had before. When the enhancement was complete, Humanity had changed. They were still human, but more than human. The enhanced people called themselves the Collective, though they remained individuals. Admiral Sam Wright, who commanded the human fleet, sent a message to all ships. The Vexari are approaching the Alliance core worlds. It's time to show them what humanity can do. But even as they prepared for the final battle, Jake worried. The Vexari had been quiet for weeks. That was not like them. Through his enhanced senses, he could feel something building. Something big. Dr. Alex Chen, who had become the expert on human precursor integration, brought disturbing news. Jake, I've been studying the Vexari energy patterns. They're not just randomly attacking anymore. They're building something. Building. What? I think it's a consciousness collector. If I'm right, they plan to absorb every thinking being in the galaxy into their collective mind. Jake felt cold, despite his enhancements. How long do we have? Based on their construction rate. Maybe 3 months. 3 months to save the galaxy. Jake looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, the final battle was waiting. Humanity had found power beyond imagination, but would it be enough? The enhanced humans could do amazing things, but the Vexari had the resources of 1,000 conquered worlds. The Alliance still refused to fight. Most of the galaxy's people didn't even know the danger they faced. But Jake remembered what melody singer Arya had sung about. In the darkest time, light finds a way. Humanity had become that light. Now they had to shine bright enough to save everyone. Admiral Sam Wright stood on the bridge of his flagship, the UHS Unity. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of every human ship in the galaxy. Thanks to the precursor enhancements, he could see them all in his mind, feel their crews like they were extensions of his own body. Admiral, called Captain Jake Morrison, through their mental link. The Vexari are moving. Massive fleet heading toward the Alterian homeworld. Sam nodded. Though Jake was on a ship 3 star systems away, the enhanced humans could communicate instantly across any distance. It was one of many new abilities they had gained. How massive? Sam asked. 10,000 ships. Maybe more, Jake replied in Sam. They have something new. Ships that look different from anything we've seen before. Dr. Lisa Hamilton, now serving as the fleet's chief analyst, joined the mental conversation. I'm detecting massive energy buildups in their formation. They're not just coming to attack, they're coming to harvest. Sam had feared this day would come. The Vexari had spent months building their consciousness collector. Now they were ready to use it. All ships, prepare for jump, Sam ordered. His voice carried not just through radio waves, but through the mental network that connected every enhanced human. We intercept them at Alterian Prime. The human fleet moved like a single organism. Ships that had once needed minutes to coordinate, now responded instantly to shared thoughts. Enhanced pilots guided their vessels with an accuracy that seemed impossible, but as they approached Alterian space, they found something unexpected. The proud Alterian fleet was there, waiting to fight. Human ships came a transmission from the Alterian flagship. This is High Commander Vexana. We request permission to fight alongside you. Sam was surprised. The Alterians had been among the first to abandon the Outer Rim. They had called humanity foolish for trying to save the refugees. Why the change of heart? Sam asked. There was a long pause. Because we have seen what happens to worlds the Vexari conquer. They do not just kill. They erase entire civilizations from existence. We were wrong to abandon the others. Jake's voice came through the link. Sam, I'm detecting other fleets approaching. Zephyrian ships, Quantum Federation vessels, even some independent colonies. They're all coming to fight, Sam asked. Looks like it. Maybe facing extinction changes people's minds. The battle for Alterian Prime was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Vexari came in waves, their ships moving like living creatures. But the combined fleet fought back with new tactics that the enemy had never faced. Enhanced human pilots. Guided Alliance ships with perfect precision. Dr. Alex Chen, working from the command ship, used his enhancement to predict Vex theory movements and warn other vessels seconds before attacks came. Sam, Lisa's voice was urgent in his mind. The new Vex theory ships, they're not weapons, they're siphons. They're trying to drain consciousness from the planet. Below them, Alterian Prime held billions of people. If the Vex theory succeeded, all those minds would be added to their collective. All enhanced pilots, target the siphon ships, Sam ordered. Don't let them reach the planet. The enhanced humans moved with incredible speed and precision. There, ships danced between enemy fire, guided by shared intuition that let them know where every other vessel would be. But the Vexeri had learned too. Their ships began adapting to human tactics, changing their attack patterns in real time. They're getting smarter, Jake warned. It's like they're learning from every move we make. That's because they are, came a new voice on the mental network. It was cold and mechanical, speaking directly into their enhanced minds. We are Echo Prime, voice of the Vexteri Collective. We know you now, humans. We know your thoughts, your fears, your hopes. Sam felt a chill. The Vexteri were inside their communication network. You cannot win, Echo Prime continued. Your individual minds are chaos. We offer unity. Join us willingly, and your death will be peaceful. We'd rather die free than live as part of your collective, Sam replied. Then you will die. But first, watch your homeworld burn. The mental link suddenly filled with images. Earth, surrounded by Vexteri ships. Cities burning. People running in terror. No, Jake's voice was filled with rage and grief. You monsters. Earth was poorly defended, Echo Prime said with satisfaction. Your species chose to spread across the galaxy, instead of protecting what mattered most. Now you see the price of your compassion. But Dr. Ben Parker's voice cut through the despair. Sam, Jake, don't listen. I'm reading massive energy signatures from Earth, but they're not destruction patterns, they're defensive. Lisa joined in. Ben's right. I'm sensing something else. The energy readings match precursor technology. What does that mean? Sam asked. It means, came a new voice, warm and familiar, that Earth is not as helpless as you think. It was General Marie Collins, speaking from Earth's orbital defense station. Admiral Wright, I have a story to tell you, about what we found under the mountains of Colorado. Through their enhanced link, Marie shared her memories. While the fleet fought in space, scientists on Earth had discovered another precursor facility. This one was much larger than the chamber on the Lumine homeworld. Earth is the center of the precursor network, Marie explained. They built their main installation here, waiting for humanity to find it. When the Vexeri attacked, the system, ACTIV-ATED, automatically. The images from Earth changed. Instead of burning cities, they saw energy barriers protecting major population centers. Vexteri ships that tried to attack simply stopped working, their crews somehow stunned into unconsciousness. The facility doesn't just enhance humans, Marie continued. It can reverse the Vexteri conditioning. It's turning their people back into individuals. Echo Prime's voice became shrill with alarm. Impossible. The unity cannot be broken. Watch and learn, said a new voice. This one belonged to a former Vexteri, speaking in halting but clear words. I remember now. I had a name once. I had family. What did you do to us? More voices joined in, as Vexteri across the fleet began to break free from their collective mind. Some of their ships simply stopped fighting. Others turned and began attacking their former allies. You see, Jake said to Echo Prime, humans aren't the only ones who value freedom. Every species does. Deep down, you just made them forget. The battle began to turn. Freed Vexeri ships shared information about their fleet's weaknesses. Enhanced humans guided Alliance vessels in precisely coordinated strikes. But Echo Prime had one last card to play. If we cannot have unity through peace, we will have it through destruction. All ships, activate the final protocol. The remaining Vexteri ships began to glow with deadly energy. They were preparing to destroy themselves and everything around them. They're going to take the whole system with them, Lisa warned. Sam made a decision that would have been impossible without the enhancement. He reached out with his mind, connecting not just to the enhanced humans, but to every pilot in the combined fleet. All ships, all crews, human and alien alike, he said. Link with us. Let us share our strength. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, one by one, non-human minds began to join the network. Alterian logic merged with human intuition, creativity combined with human determination. The expanded network reached out to the dying Vexeri ships. Instead of letting them explode, the combined consciousness of thousands of beings held them together, forcing their energy into harmless directions. When the light faded, the Vexeri fleet was gone, not destroyed, but transformed. Their ships now carried free beings who remembered their names, their homes, their loved ones. Admiral Wright looked around at the mixed fleet. Human and alien ships flying together in perfect formation. The galaxy had changed. They had all changed. Echo Prime, Sam called out. Are you still there? Yes, came a voice that sounded lost and confused. But I am not Echo Prime anymore. I remember my name. It was Keeper of Memories, before the collective took me. Welcome back, Sam said gently. The first phase of the war was over, but Sam knew this was just the beginning. Somewhere in the galactic core, the Vextherius main consciousness collector still waited, and now they knew that their enemies could free their victims. The real battle was yet to come. President Nina Walsh stood before the largest gathering in galactic history. Representatives from every known species filled the Great Hall of the rebuilt Alliance headquarters. Humans, Alterians, Zephyrians, Cathara, Luminae, Draken, and even former Vexeri sat together. Friends, Nina began, her voice carrying through both speakers and the mental network that now connected all enhanced beings. 6 months ago, our galaxy faced extinction. Today, we stand united as never before. Captain Jake Morrison, now bearing the honorary title of Guardian, watched from the side of the hall. The enhancement process had changed him greatly. His hair had turned silver, and his eyes held the same blue glow as precursor technology. But his heart remained human. Through the mental link, Dr. Lisa Hamilton shared her memories of their final battle. The journey to the galactic core had taken 3 months. The Vexerius consciousness collector was a massive structure, bigger than most planets, hanging in space like a dark star. Show them what we found, Nina said to Lisa. Lisa stepped forward, and holographic images filled the air above the assembled delegates. They saw the collector's true purpose, not just to gather consciousness, but to compress billions of minds into a single, perfect unity. The original Vexteri were not evil, Lisa explained. They were scientists who became trapped by their own creation. For thousands of years, they believed that individual thought was the source of all suffering. Elder Zixty rose from her seat. The old Cathara's voice was gentle, but clear. How did you free them? Jake answered. We didn't fight the collector. We entered it. The memory played out in the hall. Jake, Lisa, Dr. Alex Chen, and volunteers from every species had linked their consciousness together and projected themselves into the collector's core. There, they found the original Vexeri consciousness, ancient, tired, and completely alone. We showed them what they had lost, Jake continued. The joy of individual choice, the beauty of different perspectives, the strength that comes from cooperation rather than unity. Forge Master Thane, now speaking for all the Draken, asked the question everyone wondered about. But how did you convince a being that had lived in isolation for millennia? "We didn't convince them," said melody singer Aria, her voice creating harmonies that touched everyone's hearts. "We simply shared our experiences, the love between Jake and his daughter, the friendship between human and alien crews, the sacrifice of those who died protecting others." The images showed the moment when the original Vexteri consciousness finally understood. It saw through human eyes what it meant to be part of a community while still being an individual. It felt the pain of loss and the joy of connection. "In the end," Jake said, "they chose to free everyone voluntarily. Every consciousness that had been absorbed was released. Billions of beings remembered who they were." Admiral Sam Wright stepped forward. His hair was also silver now, and he moved with the careful grace of someone whose body hosted both human and precursor technology. "The Collector still exists," Sam said, "but now it serves a different purpose. It's become a meeting place where any being can share their thoughts and experiences with others, while still maintaining their individuality." President Walsh returned to the podium. "This brings us to why we're all here today. The old Galactic Alliance failed because it valued some lives more than others. We're here to build something better." She gestured to the mixed crowd. "Humans will not lead this new alliance. No single species will. We've learned that our strength comes from our differences, not despite them." A former Vexeri, now calling himself Memory Keeper, rose to speak. His appearance was unsettling, part organic, part machine, but his voice was warm. "My people offer our apologies," he said, "and our knowledge. We have seen the memories of every species we absorbed. We can share technologies and wisdom that were thought lost forever." Dr. Ben Parker, now enhanced in serving as the galaxy's chief archaeologist, added his own discovery. "We've found precursor sites on worlds throughout the galaxy. Each one is designed to awaken when a species is ready to move beyond pure What does that mean for the future?" asked High Commander Vexana of the Altar, IANS. Jake smiled. "It means we're just getting started. The precursors left us tools, but they also left us challenges. There are other galaxies out there, other civilizations, that might face what we faced. And there are mysteries we haven't even begun to understand." Nina nodded. "The new Galactic Collective, that's what we're calling ourselves, will explore these mysteries together. We'll help other civilizations find their own path to unity without conquest." In the months that followed, the galaxy transformed. Mixed colonies were established where different species lived and worked together. The enhanced humans served as bridges between races, helping them understand each other. Children born in these colonies were something new, beings who carried the genetic heritage of multiple species, but thought of themselves simply as galactic citizens. They called them the Harmony Born, and they represented the future. Jake often visited one such colony on the edge of known space. He liked to watch human children play with young Cathera, while Draken and Lumine worked together on art projects that combined engineering with beauty. "Do you ever regret it?" Dr. Alex Chen asked him one day. They sat in a garden where earth plants grew alongside alien flowers, tended by automated systems that learned from both human and precursor technology. "Regret what?" Jake replied. "Giving up our humanity to become something else." Jake was quiet for a moment, watching a human girl teach a young Draken how to throw a ball. "I don't think we gave up our humanity, Alex. I think we finally found it." "What do you mean?" "Being human was never about our biology," Jake said. "It was about caring for others, even when it cost us something. It was about choosing hope over fear, cooperation over conquest. The enhancement didn't change that. It just gave us the tools to do it better." A message came through the mental network. New refugees had been found in a distant galaxy, fleeing from something called the Shadow Collective. They were requesting help. Jake stood up. "Duty calls. Another rescue mission?" Alex asked. "Another chance to do what we do best," Jake replied. "Help those who need it." As Jake walked toward the spaceport, He reflected on how far they had come. Humanity had started as a young species trying to find their place in a vast galaxy. They had become outcasts when they chose to help the forgotten. Now they were guardians of not just their own galaxy, but potentially many others. The enhancement had given them incredible powers. They could communicate across vast distances, pilot ships with thought alone, and even share consciousness while maintaining their individuality. But Jake knew that their greatest power was still the same one they had always possessed. They cared. The UHS Defiance, now upgraded with both human and precursor technology, waited for him at the dock. Its crew was mixed humans, former Vexteri, Cathera Lumine, Draken, and several Harmony-born. Together, they would travel to another galaxy to help people they had never met. As the ship lifted off, Jake looked back at the colony one last time. In the distance, he could see the memorial they had built for those who died in the war. Names from every species, carved in stone that would last forever. At the center of the memorial was a simple inscription in the common language. They gave their lives so others could choose their own. Jake smiled. The galaxy had turned away from the forgotten once, but humanity had risen to defend them, and in doing so, had awakened a power greater than any weapon. The power to unite without conquest, to lead without domination, and to love without condition. As the ship jumped to hyperspace, beginning another journey to help the helpless, Jake knew that this was just the beginning of their story. The galaxy was vast, and there would always be those who needed protection, but they would not face their challenges alone. Never again. The forgotten had become the guardians, and the guardians would never forget their duty to protect all life, everywhere in the universe.